And then what song you dropping?
It all, you know what? Because we're recording this before the new year, I still haven't
the day
decided.
before, the eve of the eve.
Yeah, I haven't decided. I feel like it's either going to be Ballin' or
West Coast DJ.
I think it depends.
He's got a West Coast set.
Well, you know what though? Like a lot of people said that was a pretty unanimous thing, and I argued that yes, that's a very LA bubble. Yeah. Maybe not LA, but it could be a West Coast bubble song.
Yeah,
because I don't know if anybody's going to drop that in Nashville. I don't know if that's the song that's going to be dropping in Boston.
Right. That's what I said. I said, man, it depends on where you're at, what city you're at, what type of crowd you got. There's a plethora of songs, I think, that could be dropped at that time.
Yeah, big ups to Sean Dickerson, who was arguing me on this point, but I was like, my brother, I know all the rooms you've been to. I'm sure they'll probably be doing Ballin', but there are so many rooms, and I only say this because he said the keyword everywhere. It'll work everywhere. Yeah.
There's not one, I will say that, there's no one song that'll work everywhere.
I had to, I tweeted something along those lines. It's just like, I think this is the first year that I can remember where there's no like unanimous song. And that's even if you go into different genres.
Yeah.
Right? Like pop. Lizzo?
Yeah, but you ain't playing that in no hip hop crowd.
No, right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying for like a pop crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think
definitely.
that's a unanimous record? Like, maybe not?
Maybe.
Not unanimous.
Nah.
Right. So we're going to the cards.
Yeah, exactly. DJs, let us know what song you played.
Yeah, we want to know what songs you guys played at
how it
midnight.
worked.
And how it worked for you
My
guys.
experiences with doing New Year's Eve is people are so trashed by 12 a.m. that
it could be anything.
It could be anything. They don't, they get up for the moment, but it can be anything. And then after that, you can play anything.
Yeah.
Right.
And chances are some of them are just going to bounce because they came what they came to do. And then it has nothing to do with you or the club. It's just like, all right, let's hit the streets, or
depending on how much money they drop that night, they might wait the whole night out.
I've seen people, clubs not empty out, but thin out around 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And you're still in the thick of your shit.
They've been going at it since 10.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you got that 2-hour buildup to the moment.
I think that's the one night of the whole year that people will actually show up when the doors open.
Yeah.
Right? No matter if you're just someone that's going to be on the dance floor and at the bar, or if you're someone that's buying a table.
Yeah.
The doors open at 10, you will probably be there from between 10 and 10:30. You will probably be in that building.
And I don't even blame them for that, because I remember, I can't remember if it was probably 2 years ago, but I remember having a gig in Hollywood, and I want to say we tried to pull up at 11, but it was so hectic and crazy that we couldn't even get in time for the countdown. We spent the countdown waiting on the bottle girl to bring out the bottle I was like, yo, give me anything
right?
to just toast to with my friends.
Exactly.
I'll take anything. I'll take juice. Like, just give me something to toast to, because this is going to make, it's like, it's a moment with your friends.
Yep.
So that's also part of probably the reason you don't know what to expect. Traffic, lines at the door, ticket issues, whatever.
It's going to be just,
so.
I hope everybody's New Year's was good. They had a safe one.
Episode 27, we are wishing you guys had a great, blessed New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Yep. It's 2020 now, gentlemen.
2020, yeah.
2020. Wow.
You know what? In the grand scheme of things, it's just another year, it's just another day.
Yeah, absolutely. 100.
I mean,
it's another decade, Joe.
It's another.
Downplay it.
It's just another day. You know what I mean? The grand scheme. Like, do you think Father Time is saying, "Oh yeah, this is going to be a good Christmas," or "This is going to be a special New Year's Eve"? No. But I'm not trying to like depress the moment. But I'm just saying, like, end of the day, you still got to go out and do what you got to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter how significant the moment is, like, hey man, I still got to go out and grind and do my thing.
Just give some people to believe more into. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
some people. Yeah. I feel it. Well, we're in episode 27. I go by Dainjazone. To my left, MikiWAR. To my right, is DJ Rell. We are the MikiDz podcast.
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, how was our weekends?
Weekends was lovely.
Mm-hmm. Christmas was pretty fun.
It was
family filled.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like it landed in such a weird time, right? Where like this whole New Year's and then Christmas, and then what was it? The last Thursday felt like the most Monday-esque Thursday ever.
Yeah,
like it just felt like another week.
We know,
and then you're like in the weekend.
We know what day it is. I was at the barbershop and one of the barbers asked me. He was just like, because we go to the same sushi spot. And he was like, "Yo, when's the last time you been to the sushi spot?" And I was like, "Oh, I went on Thursday." Keep in mind, I was at the barbershop on Saturday, and he's like, he was like, "So you were there yesterday?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I was like, No, yesterday was Friday. And he was like, "Oh shit!" Like no one knew what day it was. Yeah, it's crazy. You never like that time frame between Christmas and New Year's. It's like, what day is it?
And that's about to get. And then we got to run it back this week.
Yep.
With the big New Year's Eve night, and then it'll just. We'll see how everybody else operates. Yeah, it'll be good.
We'll see. I'm sure everybody will be back to track at the end of the week by today, by Monday.
Right.
When this is showing.
True. Yeah. Rell, did you do anything special this weekend?
This weekend's I'm gonna bundle it all up in the Christmas weekend. I had an eventful weekends this Christmas New Year's week. I actually did a gig for Cedric the Entertainer. Hey. And he had hired YG. This probably was one of the craziest shit. This is the craziest shit. But I did so real quick. I did a event for him last year as well, and he hired Mustard. So these guys live in his neighborhood. Oh, so he has that connection. And whenever like he does an event, he has them come perform for them or whatever. No, they actually live in Chatsworth, where Sierra Canyon is. Yeah, right behind Sierra Canyon. Yeah. So it was that event was dope. Like these people were turned. YG came over there and he brought it to the next level. Shout out Vision because he was there. He DJ'd a couple of tracks for YG. Yeah. And it was one moment where they were screaming, "Perform, fuck Donald Trump, fuck Donald Trump," and he was just like, "I don't know, man. That's a lot of pressure right now. Obviously with the whole impeachment thing going on and whatnot." Yeah. He's like, "I don't know. I gotta ask old man if he's cool with that." And Cedric goes, "Man, fuck that fool, sing that shit." I was like, yo. And I mean, the place erupted. Like, erupted. And I was like, holy shit.
Like, nice. I like that.
But yeah, so I did that week. The following day, I did Danny Lay's birthday. The artist Danny Lay, the singer.
Yeah. Just to pause you real quick. Yeah. Can you just imagine YG pulling up with like some sugar or some milk like next door? It's like, you want to jump on real quick?
Yo, he literally, and to be funny with you, I think he came from, if I'm not mistaken, I think he just came from that Laker game, wherever that Laker game was that day. But he had on a wife beater and like a peacoat over it, right? Like a peacoat, a wife beater. Like he literally had some shit like he just rolled out the crib and just walked down the street on some shit. Like, and I was just like, yo, it was
like
crazy.
Gucci loafers.
It was crazy. But
so Danny Lay's party.
We did. Shout out my boy DJ Waddy J. Yeah. He's Danny Lay's tour DJ. They did her birthday and she's collabing with Puma. So like, whatever. So they had like this big event. That shit was crazy. We did that at Adults Only in Hollywood. That was crazy. Waddy and I just went back and forth all night. That was dope. And I closed out the weekend's private shit. And then I did 82 Lounge where you showed up at. Yeah, Miki came. Oh, yeah. Showed up at 82 Lounge. And that was cool. That usually is like just real kind of kickback. If you guys are not familiar with that spot, it's an arcade bar downtown. Real cool. They have all the like vintage video games and whatnot. And I usually, whenever I do it, it's usually on Sundays. And it's really I just play like some underground like backpack hip hop shit, funk shit. Get to pretty much play whatever. And it's usually just laid back shit. Like I just let tracks ride. I'm usually cutting my ass off or just I use it as practice or whatever. Yo, this shit turned up. Yeah, it turned up, and it was pouring outside when we pulled up for my set. It was pouring outside, so I assumed that it was gonna be slow. Nah, I was like, okay, and like even the bartenders and one of the managers came over, and he was like, "Yo, you got this shit jumping," and I was like, "Bro, I didn't do this. Like they did that. Like, you know what I mean?" But it was cool, man. Christmas and New Year's, whatever. Grand Park for New Year's. That will be fun. Yeah, because obviously we're recording now. Right. But I'm at Grand Park. But like I said, my set's over at 10:30.
Yeah, for sure.
So Hey, man, I'm happy. I'm happy that I get paid a nice little rate to do an hour and 15 minute set.
Yeah, I'm out.
And I'm out before midnight. I do not know what I'm doing afterwards. I will be downtown. I'll have no idea what's going to be the move. What I don't want to run into is the scenario we were just talking about is trying to get into a spot or get situated and the countdown is already done.
Hey, man. Yep.
And then I'm like, all right, I want to go.
If you can make it to OC in time, I'll leave that back door open.
All right, look, shit, fuck it. I'm going to talk to wife and see what's good.
That is quite a drive.
Right?
Yeah.
How about you, gentlemen? How was the weekend?
I'll piggyback on that just because I saw you at 82, which it was pouring crazy.
Shout out to Miki for coming out.
That was a Saturday?
That was kind of an accident. It was
Sunday.
Was it Sunday?
Sunday,
Sunday.
yeah, Sunday night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, it was Sunday night.
It was the night of,
Yeah, it was Sunday night. Yep.
So I can't even remember. But it was man, it was pouring crazy. I had actually made a trip to Orange County to go pick up something for a client that we had promised would be at the shop the next day. And I was like, I'll leave it for later. Yeah. And it was like clear earlier. Man, I hydroplaned like 3 or 4 times. That was when I had a tweet. I was like, man, this is like Mario Kart on the beach stage.
Oh, yeah.
Like drivers.
Just everything was just like, there was even nobody on the, I mean, there's some jerks who were going 80, like through puddles and different things on the freeway.
Yeah.
But I couldn't go past 70 or else I'd start hydroplaning. I was like, this is just not safe.
Yeah.
And then while I was in Orange County, this is a first, I got served a tornado warning. Now, as a California-raised kid, the only time I've been in another tornado warning was with you.
Yeah.
Driving back from
Kansas.
Yeah.
Kansas.
And that happens every day out there.
Yeah, it was normal. You were like, oh yeah, look at that.
They made a movie out of that shit.
Yo, there was lightning every second and Mike was like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like, no, it's normal out here.
He got used to it. I was looking around like,
tripping the first time too. Like, man.
Because as a California kid, I mean, I've seen snow maybe 4 or 5 times in my life, really, so like, I think I had my first snow experience with you in DC.
DC, right? That's right. Just thinking about
it. And I learned the difference between slushy snow and soft snow.
Yeah, don't fuck with none of them.
Dummy.
Did you do an angel in it?
It's so stupid.
all wet.
All wet. But I did bring my Timbs. At least I was.
Yeah, you were ready.
I was ready. But yeah, so I drove, and then, of course, being irresponsible, don't do this. I was driving and going through the gram a little bit, and shout out to Lauren who posted that she was at your gig.
Yeah, shout out to Snappers.
And then I saw it, and I was like, I actually DM'd you and Jen, and I think her. Like, y'all still there?
Yeah, you did.
I'm like, I don't think I'm ready to go home type of thing.
I was like, I'm here too, baby.
Yeah, and I was just like, and then I was like, you know what, I just pulled up. And then as soon as I parked, he says, yeah, we're still here. I was like, all right, bet.
Yeah.
So just pulled up, got to catch a little vibe.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to the weekend, I actually got called in to cover for our good friend Night Train in Riverside.
At Prohibition, right?
Prohibition.
Nice.
Yeah, that was super last minute. Night Train got sick, and I had already hit up Darren from Prohibition the day before just to like say, hey, I'm coming out, since my brother lives out there. I was like, yo, I'm coming out with Night Train tomorrow. This was on Friday. And then I just get the DM like, hey, can you clock in? And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, just got a cancellation. And I was like, what? So I had to check in with Night Train, make sure it was good. And then surely enough, it turned out to be a really fun night, man. Like, got to play some like real open format music, literally go through all the different genres. And I haven't played, house up 128 BPM post stuff.
Dust those off.
Gotta like
get the cobwebs off them.
Was you able to get into some like Aquanet, flashback shit?
Yep. Yeah, a little bit of.
I know that shit rocks out there.
A little bit of sprinkle of that, a little bit of Selena. Yo, Papa Roach, like all those rock classics, they go there. Yeah. They go, and you get the spots, right? Like you got you're the drug dealer joints at the tables. You got the ladies who like the sing-alongs in the middle. You got in the far back. You got your freestyle fans. So it was a fun, diverse crowd.
Dope.
Shout out to them for always the hospitality. But it was a fun, random night.
Nice.
And, from there, just got to spend time with little bro out in Riverside, who I have spoken to, and he will be coming on soon on the pod.
Okay. Don't say why he's coming on.
I won't say why. I
don't want to steal our idea.
Spoilers. Yeah. No spoilers. But he's preparing.
Okay.
Dope.
So
we need
we'll
that.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
We don't want him to talk out of his ass.
No. We get enough of that on this pod.
Right. We do that plenty.
We do enough of it. We got that covered.
Joseph, you're fresh from a trip.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Big Night Live Entertainment. They own Shrine in Connecticut and MikiWAR on the Ball and the Grand in Boston, and amongst other things, but they're freaking killing it out there, man. Like the Shrine was dope, a real fun crowd, and MikiWAR was a lot of fun as well. But I noticed something at 12:45 when I got, and this is both spots are open format. You can play all the sing along stuff. You can kind of go wherever you want.
Right.
Both casino crowds, but around 12:50, I got into my 70 BPM bag. And I just started seeing bottles flying out. And, from there, 70, I worked my way up to Plain Jane. And then I just keep going up in the hip hop stuff.
Right.
And I just started seeing bottles flying out. And, I made sure I told the owner. And I stayed an extra day to go see Griffin at the Grand. Griffin's a EDM guy, which was like sold out, just stupid packed. I might look like an idiot right now, but I've never heard this guy before.
Right.
So they're like, every time he DJs for us, he sells out. I was like, well, let me check this out. We stayed in a hotel across the street.
Is his whole name thing like off of Griffey? Because I saw him wearing a baseball jersey. He wore a baseball,
probably. Maybe he's a base. It's rare you see DJs that are baseball fans.
Right.
Or sports fans.
I mean, that was like a really nice little subliminal. If that's it, I just guessed.
If not, he's just going to take on with that.
Right.
Yeah. I should have checked if he had the Griffies. I should have said he was wearing the Griffies.
Right.
But, so I made sure I told the owner, this is what happened. So for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe it helps them when it comes down to their numbers. But Randy, the owner, had took me to Big Night Live, which is their new venue. And it's so, I haven't seen a venue like this, and I haven't been to every live entertainment venue. But not only do they have the GA space, they also have tables surrounding the GA space, which is a significant gap between each other, the GA space and the tables. And that's something like when we go to the Microsoft Theater, like you've been there before, it's the newer theater live show space in LA across the street from Staples Center.
Right.
I don't think there's any tables. If there are, there's only a small handful, right?
I want to say Microsoft set up more like a theater.
Right.
Like full theater vibe.
Right.
The Novo might be more of like, I think, the GA space with, but usually what they'll do is similar to House of Blues or what's that place? Observatory.
Yeah.
Where they'll do a second floor.
The upstairs at NoHo.
And then do tables there.
Oh, right. And Avalon's built like that too in Hollywood where the second floor.
Yeah. Second floor
exactly.
tables.
Yeah, you're right.
So this is a newer space. It's connected to the garden. And so you have a ton of tables in the outside. And just the whole thing looks incredibly clean. Guy Ferrari. He has a restaurant connected to it. And the whole space just looks incredible. And Boston has money to spend. It's just about getting these people to come out and spend the money.
Right.
So, shout out to those guys. Hopefully we'll be doing something with them in the near future or so. But that was my weekend. Sam came out. It's her first time being in Boston.
Did you say a birthday gift?
Her birthday's in March.
Birthday's in March. Part of her birthday gift. Chalk it up to
a deposit.
Don't ask me for shit in 2020.
Just think, Valentine's, birthday. Come on, man. That's an expensive ticket around the holidays, man. Hotel, but we were amongst people that were connected in the city. Shout out to my guy Vinny. Everywhere we went, it was just taken care of, and he's also VIP host at Boston, so we were just well taken care of. And I want to give a shout out to the opener, Skills. Is it DJ Skills Music? Is that what it is?
What's his name? Skills?
DJ Skills Music. He opened for me at Shrine. Did a really, really good job. His first hour was all hip hop, like older R&B stuff. I swear to God, I thought Rell was DJing. Every element about his set was the chirps, not the chirps, but the scribbles on the one and dropping. And he was super in and out, but it wasn't obnoxious. It wasn't too fast. He was just, it had a nice flow. And then he got into the up-tempo stuff, so he really showed his range on what he can do.
Right.
But he did a really good job. And Tony Clark at MikiWAR, when I walked in at 11:30, it was still kind of quiet in there. And you don't know what you're going to get the weekend before New Year's Eve, right? Some places hit, some are just like people are saving it for New Year's.
Yeah.
So it was kind of quiet when I walked in, and Tony was like, "Man, I'm just going to keep doing this. Like, I'm not sure because I don't want to lose." I'm like, "Bro, just keep doing what you're doing. It'll be fine." So by the time I picked my head up at 12, the place was packed and we were good.
Yeah.
And we talked about it after, and I said, "No, like what you did was perfect. Like you didn't scare them away, and you didn't give them too much. You didn't get them too hyped. Like you kept them nice and solid."
Yeah.
So when I got on, you pass the baton to me, and I take it from there. So I just want to shout out to those guys and give them love. But yeah, man, that was my weekend.
Yeah, we know. So I don't personally know Skills, but my fiance knows Skills because he's in Connecticut, right?
I guess does he live in New York?
He lives in Connecticut, right? Is that Shrine, right?
He probably told me that. I just forgot.
He's at Shrine, right?
Shrine.
So yeah, my fiance knows him from when she used to go dance back in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And I always knew that when Joe was going out to Shrine and doing stuff, I was like, "Yo, there's a cat out there that she knows that or something like that." And we couldn't figure it out. And then when he finally posted a picture this weekend, we were like, "That's the guy. That's who we know." Yeah.
Back in our circle.
Yeah. So.
Shout out to Tony who listens to the pod.
Tony Clark.
Yep.
Yeah, man. He's also a teacher at the Berkeley out there.
Oh, sure.
Him and DJ JD, they're teachers out there.
JD,
dope.
Man.
So they're killing all those guys. All those guys connected to Big Night. All those DJs, they're all doing extremely well. And I think it's and we need to talk about this at some point, not today, but at some point. When you have a company that has their openers, that builds with their openers, this company, Big Night, they continue to give their openers raises and they continue to put them up in the business. Like Buddy just used to be, DJ Costa, he just used to be an opener. Now he's handling bookings with Randy, and he has other jobs. A part of that, and he's kind of like, yeah, I like to travel, but why would I go anywhere when I'm working for the best clubs in the country? I'm like, hey man, but a lot. I say it because a lot of companies keep their openers or the local guys down here,
right?
You know, they don't necessarily build. They bring in other guys to build, but these guys know the city better than anybody else.
Yeah,
right.
So Randy continues to bring these guys on, and Vinny Vibes, another one of our friends, who's been building up with them. So yeah, they're just killing it out there.
And that's important. I mean, when you're building the synergy, not only with like within your city, but also like the companies that do understand it, they're really important.
Yeah.
And, fortunately enough, you sometimes get in the position to kind of put in your input for talent buying.
Yeah,
if you will,
absolutely.
I was fortunate enough, like when E-Rock put me on, when he brought Infusion down to Hollywood, he gave me the opportunity to do talent buying as he kind of grew into his new responsibilities in different companies.
Yeah.
And funny enough, you had a recent kind of array of tweets that brought in the topic of gig swapping, something that, I can be transparent about. That's something that would come up. But as we've kind of said before in the earlier episodes, it's not something that we'd always bite on, or I would not bite on, because at the end of the day, like if you do the wrong situations, it's going to reflect. Yeah. And it's going to reflect on the longevity of your position, right? Because you got to answer to different people.
Yeah.
And probably one of the most difficult things, and I can only say this specifically to Los Angeles because this is where we're at. Yeah. But like, sometimes the rates that you get here don't match the rates out there. Yeah. Or the value of a DJ from, I don't know, call it Las Cruces or Chicago or wherever might not hold the same value of bringing somebody from those cities into LA, that being able to bring an LA DJ to those cities might be. So there's some of those challenges. But to get real clear, and so we're all on the same page, do you want to...
Yeah, and again, we talked about this in one of the earlier episodes, but it was still very new to us. We were still trying to get an understanding of how it's going to work in the long run. But now we're here, and it's like, okay, I think we got a pretty good idea of how it is working and how And it can go a number of different ways. And we're not here to bash it, just to be clear with everyone. We're here to just state our thoughts on it. And
well, first of all, your tweets only reflect your opinion. And
my tweets only reflect my opinion. But again, in my tweets, and I don't think a lot of people took this way, I'm not bashing anybody. These are just
well, hey, you have
what
a platform.
I see. You
know
have responsibility.
You got more than you got more than 140 characters today. So,
I got like 10 tweets.
Drop. Oh Lord.
Okay, so and then Fashen also chimed in on this as well.
Shout out to Fashen.
And I'll read his because he made it public, so it must be all right. All right, so I started this off with gig swapping is a thing and will take over in 2020 and on. Local DJs are taking over their clubs/bars, creating more of a challenge for agencies and independent DJs to get in rotation. In some cases, these DJs are very generous and bless their friends with dates. If you're an agency and you don't have a stake in a club or have control of bookings in that club, then you are not evolving. I'd also argue that you're not evolving if you're still taking 20% of all your DJ's gigs as opposed to only getting a cut of what you bring to the table. It's just my hot take. This is part of the reason why there is a revolving door that DJs walk in and out of at some of these agencies. But I imagine some of the agencies don't care how many DJs come and go, just as long as there is talent to fill the void. If the agency is bringing a consistent stream of bookings, then it's worth the 20 off the top across the board. Nevertheless, agencies, DJs that have control of a club's bookings will be able to expand more out of their region, but will only be able to go as far as their clubs will allow them to go. Meaning, if your club's DJ pay drops, then your chances of swapping at a decent rate will minimize. And what is typically the first thing to drop when a club goes through its inevitable struggles? The DJ budget. Plus, if the owner knows you're just a part of some deal that he ignores, then where do you stand when the deal is up? Or a booker outside of the swap may realize you're booked at a club because of your swap, not because of your skills and brand, thus a possible, nah, we're good on booking you. The DJs involved in the swap have to think beyond the swap if they want longevity. Relying on a company in an industry where companies come and go may not be sustainable. How do you turn a swap into an infinite play? No, my theory isn't conclusive and doesn't reflect all DJs that fit the mold. But I do encourage DJs to focus on the relationship, brands, and skills. And Miki also commented on that by saying in that order. Your brand will also justify your booking. Your brand will justify your booking. Your relationships will get you through the door. Your skills can keep you in that room with a possible seat at the table. Finite versus infinite. All I can tell you is what I'm witnessing and how I think things may play out. Much love to the DJs, whether they swap or a part of an agency or independent, who continue to be creative in their attempts to move around the country and get booked and rebooked. It's a testament to your skills and creative when a club books you and continues to book you. Very well, maybe the biggest compliment you'll receive. Get your campaign ready for 2020. Now, you want me to go on the Fashen's tweet, his response to that?
Can we just go back to where I jumped in and then can you name the 3 things that you said are important, and so I can just real quick
live with it.
Give you your flowers on that particular part.
Okay. Nope.
You read my reply before what I actually did reply to.
Okay, so no, my theory isn't conclusive and doesn't reflect all DJs that fits this mold, but I do encourage DJs to focus on their relationships, brand, and skills.
In that order.
In that order.
Yes.
Yeah. Relationships, brand, and then skills.
In 2020, now this could be an argument, and that's fine, but that's perfectly fine. But in that order, in 2020.
In that order.
Yeah, I don't see how you can argue that.
And this is very kind of club DJ bubble, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
because every DJ is going to have their different goals and aspirations and what they want to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you want to be in the dojo and you want to work on sharpening your skills before you even think about doing the gig, cool.
By all means.
by all means, we respect that. But for the club DJ, I really feel in that order, those are the keys, because the relationships are what going to get you in the door. Once you're in the door, the opportunity will open another door, and to stay there is executing. And so
I want to ask you about the first point that you and we were talking about this earlier about you're saying that in 2020 that DJ swapping is going to be the next thing or increase. How many DJs do you guys know are in a position, in your experience, in your personal experience, are in a position to do a lot of, or to do bookings in general? Like,
real quick, maybe you want to, that's where you want to hit Fashen's answer.
Oh, sure.
That is correlated exactly to what the specific part you were saying. So
Fashen's response is, no disrespect, but it is this, but this is the only way you can, I'm sorry, but if this is the only way you can get a booking, you're not creating any value for yourself and you're fucking up the game. Good DJs are worth their fee. If you have to trade, then you're not worth it. Sorry, not sorry. And my response to that, or what I like to add to that is, if you have to gig swap, or actually, I got to rethink how I want to word that. But what are you guys' thoughts on?
I mean, I kind of agree with Fashen, because it's you hold no value, right? So to bring up your point where you're saying if a DJ is if the DJ is swapping gigs, so obviously the DJ either is either the booker or has his hand in booking, correct?
Yeah.
Right. Now,
sure.
Miki has been in that position where he was able to book DJs.
Right.
Right. I'm not a booker at a spot, but I've built a relationship with cats that I can suggest, and my opinion or my suggestions are highly thought of. So basically meaning if I suggest someone, 9 times out of 10, they'll probably get booked.
Yeah, they respect your opinion.
Right? But if that particular venue is struggling, what's the first thing to get cut?
Yeah, the
DJ budget, right? Yeah. So now, what do you have to trade if that budget is not there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now you hold no value.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So just to bring it up to Fashen's part, like if you are relying on that, if that's what you're relying on, like, listen, I'm at one of the top spots either in my city or in the country or whatever. I can swap, you get me into your city, I can get you into my city, whatever. All right, that spot, that venue has had a good run, 6 months to a year, whatever the case is. Now, I'm not saying they go completely like bankrupt or whatever the scenario is, but they just like sales are not as what they were the last 6 months to a year. Yeah. And they have to go down. They have to make some budget cuts.
Right.
Like you said, the first thing to get cut is DJ budget. Listen, we gotta cut the DJ budget. Now, as me being the DJ and booking, and I'm relying on that, my value decreases.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because now I can't go and be like, yo, I can get you into the city getting paid this much, because now it doesn't make sense for someone like yourself to want to leave the situation that I'm in to go and do that, or trade with you and get paid less than my value.
Right.
And have to put you into the spot and give my relationship that I with my word, you know what I mean, that this person is, you know, able to hold it down and do stuff like that. So now you lose your value in the sense like that. So I personally shouldn't say that. I don't think that that's going to be the new way. I don't think that it's going to help anybody or any DJ in that sense. Like having it
in longevity, or just because some of these guys are just trying to get it. You know, everyone has a reason. Some guys are just trying to get out of their city and do something different.
And I mean, and that's great. You know what I mean? Like if that's your short-term goal,
sure, by
all means. Like, you know what I'm saying? But with, you know, longevity wise, if we're speaking longevity wise, it's not going to hold no weight after a certain amount of time.
And I mean, I'll say this based on my experience from the days when I was doing talent buying.
Yeah.
Like you can't do it across the board, like, and feel like you're putting yourself in this position to grow your brand, because really what you're doing is like there's an expectation.
Yep.
Right. And then you're like, depending on what the situation is, well, let's just give it a real ass example, right? Like, you guys were my boys, or are my boys, have always been my boys.
Mm-hmm.
And in that opportunity, I was able to book you guys.
Yeah.
I've told you guys plenty of times, I would have loved to have booked you guys more, but obviously you have to spread, number one, the budget.
Yep.
You know, there's times back in that day I couldn't even afford Dainja's budget. But I was always realistic. And I was like, look, end of the day, I'll go to the max that I got.
Yeah.
And if you can come down to what you feel you're comfortable with, cool. Right? There's a little level of transparency that we can offer our audience. At the same time, when I had opportunities to put you on to headline while you were still making your name in the club scene, right? Like I would try and do that. And so at the same time, while I could possibly get some looks from this side, I'm also trying to make sense of the other side without making it seem like it's a stretch, and have my quote unquote peers and superiors and other managers look at me like, yo, what are you doing putting this person on? Because I've had to pull people. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And that's part of my responsibility. Yep. And so if you're going to do it, and I'm going to say this from a DJ's perspective, like you got to be smart. You got to always put the venue and the party first, not your individual brand.
Exactly.
You put the team first. Exactly. It's always about the team. And if you're able to do that, that's the recipe for success. Yeah. You know, as long as all the other cylinders are running, of course. But also, you know, I think that's where you get into other tricky situations, which we can even elevate it more. Because I think what you had to say also kind of expands on the whole idea of agencies and people that actually property manage as well, who have control of venues and their bookings, that have their guys, right? Because they have their guys too. And they're going to put them on so that they can put other people on and have multiple venues. And maybe or maybe not, and I'm just like guessing here, but like some of that also devalues those DJs is maybe
in the swap. Yeah. I feel to some degree,
right. Because if let's just say for whatever reason you're dependent on a single person that's in charge of that property management company, and let's say the property management company gets fired, it happens all the time in all different categories in life, then that devalues the whole set, right? Sure. The whole list of guys. And so I think Fashen said something that's really important, which is where if you solely rely on the swap, then you're in a very dangerous spot.
Exactly. Yep. It's a great tool to have in your bag, but it shouldn't be the only tool you have.
And not the primary, right?
Exactly.
Like, and what's that old term? Don't put all your marbles in
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah. How did I mess that one up? But I think that's the key thing. You got to diversify your portfolio of what you have to offer. And I think that's really key.
I just want to state that when we were going into this episode, we wanted to create, so we didn't know what kind of name to give. We wanted to create an awareness or things to look out for in 2020. Because in January, there's always a lot of new things happening, new contracts, new budgets, new clubs, etc. So we just wanted to give some sort of insight to what to look out for in 2020 for DJs. And I'm also going to apologize now. I can speak for myself for sure. We might be all over the place with this shit because we have so many ideas and so many things to get out that, you know, just bear with us. But to add to what Fashen said, and I'm only speaking for myself right now, maybe a handful of other DJs, but after Fashen said that, I thought, well, what do I want to do in 2020? I'm going after big fish. I'm going after if you were to break all the clubs down into levels, level 1, 2, and 3, right? Big fish, you know, and then you got the middle guys, and then you got the bottom.
He said middle-sized fish. Flounder.
So what I want to do in 2020 is go after level 1 bookings. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to do level 2. Some of the homies throw really dope level 2 bookings, and I want to do something with the homies, so I'm probably going to do that. Maybe not all the time, but I'm probably going to do that. And then, and let me be clear, level 1 in those cities. I got to where I am now because I took some of those level 3 bookings and some of those level 2 bookings, and again, none of those bookings are bad. I just want to grow. And if in some cities, I'm not going to do any level 2 bookings, because if I'm going after that level 1 in that city, and that level 1 sees me doing a level 2, like a month or 2 or 3 or 4 ago, they may not take me as serious. And if I know I have a chance, I'm saying if you have a chance, if there is a good chance that you, or a slight chance that you have a crack at that level 1 booking, and you don't need the money, because that's usually what it comes down to. Right? It's like, I got bills to pay. You know, let me just get this little extra something because it'll help in the in the grand scheme. But if you can deal without that level 2 booking and focus on the 1 because you know you have a pretty decent chance at the 1, that's what I'm holding out for in 2020.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are a lot of DJs like that. So I say all this because when I think of the gig swapping opportunities, a majority of them, 97+% of them, aren't level 1 bookings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that doesn't benefit me at all to be a part of a swapping. Now, what we were talking about earlier is sometimes you're just helping the homie out.
Yeah.
Like I gave the example to you, Tony Handsome. I didn't really know much about him, but I was talking to him at one of our gigs, and I said, "Look, I know you're an OC guy. I think you can help over at Legacy. My friend does the bookings there. You know, let me see if he can get you booked. It just makes sense to me. You know, you can bring that crowd. Everybody makes money." So that was like 3-4 months ago. I think he's been booked there ever since. But and in return, in that same conversation, he's like, "Yo, I'll get you a booking at this other club." But I'm just like, I don't care for that. Like, it's fine. I don't care for the swap. Like, if I can help you. And I think that's another thing DJs need to do more of. And also be aware of, I only want to work and help DJs that want to help the community.
Exactly.
If I see that you're on a road just for yourself and you want to only get your shit off and get and satisfy your pockets, I'll smell that on you. I'll feel that on you.
You don't want to be affiliated with that.
And I don't want to do business with it. And sometimes it may take a booking to realize that or two. But yeah, in 2020, I only want to work with guys that want to help the community and help guys get booked. But
I think that would be a great move for just the DJing community and in general, is just your intentions need to be different. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that will follow, like, obviously your actions, your maneuvers will be different. If my intentions is to help somebody, I'm in a position to help somebody to get somewhere or spin in a spot that they're interested in spinning, or in a city that they're interested in spinning, without having my own agenda attached to it, then absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll definitely help out someone. Yo, you're trying to get here, trying to do that? Absolutely. Without even thinking about it. Like, going back to what you were saying, if the fit is right.
Right.
I think that you fit this spot perfectly.
Yeah.
And you're interested in doing it, then absolutely. Without me wanting anything in return.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that is going to be, in my opinion, or our opinion or whatever, that would be huge for the DJ community to maneuver in that way. Let's be real. We get it. We all say that the DJ industry is saturated or whatever, but there's a shit ton of work out there.
100%.
There's a shit ton of work. I think there's enough work for every DJ. And then if we maneuver in a different way and we support one another, then these venues and these bookers will have no choice, because Joe and I, piggybacking off of what he was saying about going after those level 1, spots, and kind of chiming in on those level 2 spots. And he wouldn't want to do those level 2 spots because the bookers at level 1 may look at him and be like, we're not sure. Right. And my thought process is, if you're a booker and you're looking at someone in the city for the first time or whatever, just brand new to the city, and they're doing those level 2 spots, why are you judging that DJ by the spot that they're doing? You know what I'm saying? As opposed to DJing who they are as a DJ.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Looking at it like this, instead of being like, okay, the level 2 spot in the city is whatever. Like, that's the spot that,
right,
when you can't get into these spots, you go there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the scenario is. But instead of looking at it like that, you look at it from the perspective as, okay, I've heard him DJ. I've heard his name around, whatever. I've heard him DJ.
Right.
I've looked at his presentation, right? I've looked at his music selection. I looked at his mic presence, how he interacts with the crowd, how he maneuvers around the spot or whatever. I've had that introduction. We've spoke or whatever. And if all those check off, what does it matter what spot he's doing? he or she is doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Why not just being like, yo, they seem like they would be, because I think, and I was saying this to Joe, is that stop basing that DJ as, because the venue may want a particular genre of music or a certain vibe or whatever like that. And obviously you being a professional, you're going to cater to that. Yeah. And we get looked at as, oh, that's what they only do. Yeah. For the most part, most DJs are open format DJs, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that goes back to my point of give them a reason to book you. Like just because my boy books, let's just say I have a boy that books at a level 1 spot, but he's not booking me. But that's my guy, but he's still not booking me, you know, and you would think, oh man, that's easy. You should easily get in that. Yeah. Okay. Give him a reason to book you. And that comes down to your brand, right? The relationship's there. That's one of the points, right?
Yeah. Point 1.
And your skills are obviously there too, right? Point 3.
We're going in order.
So you have to give them a reason, to book you. And remember, they have bosses too.
Absolutely.
They have a job to you know, they got bills to pay and all that. So you have to give them a reason to bring you in, whether it's your boy or not. And that also goes to, you know, we can do this now or later, but how you react to that plays a big role too.
Yes.
Like, you want to jump in?
I wanted to interject on what you had to say. And I think that's why we have a podcast, is because we know each other so well and we're good to disagree or agree on every little tidbit, right? As we go through this. And I think the main goal here is to be able to affect or distribute knowledge that we've gained over the years to the most people that we can. And I think one of the things is, and you know, what you've done for your brand is admirable, and you're at that level where you're like, I'm going into 2020 and then going specific for these type of gigs, right? And that's great. And what you key point, which is why I wanted to circle back to it, was that 97% of the gigs are not those kind of gigs.
Right.
So the person that will be able to relate to that is really the 3%. And those 3% probably aren't listening to us because they are doing what we're doing or what you're trying to do. Right. So to translate over, just kind of something that came up earlier today. Shout out to Dre Sinatra, who was one of our guests a couple of weeks back. And he said something that really resonated with me, not only in the DJ side of things, but also in just like real life, which was the moment he stopped chasing a number or money or a certain financial like goal is when the financial things started to come and they'd flow. And not only flow, but flood. And so I think I've been able to relate to that in my experiences, is where when I stopped looking at what the bag looked like and I started to look at what makes me happy, but is in line with my brand. Exactly. I think each individual, and the reminder always is, you know, horses have blinders on their eyes. Why? To stay in their lane. I think we all can, and I say this respectfully, mind our own fucking business and stay in our lanes in this year. Yeah. Because that's something you do amazingly when you stay disciplined to all the different things that you like to do, that I'll get on you about at breakfast for having Ziploc bags with coffee and whatever else.
Bulletproof coffee.
Bulletproof coffee.
Shout out to Shoney. He does that.
Trying to get
the only two DJs that check. Trying to get the bag for all of us. For all of us. We all eating. All right. We all drinking.
So you got the meal prep mind.
I got you.
Thanks, man. I'm not the disciplined one. I'll break my New Year's diet in 3 weeks.
Hey, man, listen.
But I'll be in the gym. But I admire that about you because you stick to what you plan. And I think what's really important going into 2020 is being able to understand and have that level of focus that if there are goals that you want to reach and small things that can help you get there, for me have always just been writing things down. Yeah. And because the physical energy that it takes to put pen to a pad and have it sit there, I'll have it sit there and I won't throw it away until I've done it. Like, I'm going to get notifications that I ignore every morning. Right? Reminders, whatever, right in a notepad. I forget to even go back to my notepad app. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's a to-do list here from last month. But physically, you have a piece of paper that's in your way.
Yeah.
That you got to get to the trash can. How do I get it there? By doing it.
Yeah.
And so I think as a responsibility, as our voices gets larger and the things you want to do, I think you just need to get your goals in line. They need to align with your brand and where you want to get to. And you got to fucking execute.
Yeah.
Don't worry about why this guy has got a residency, why this guy's buddy with the talent buyer. Like, that has nothing to do with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It has everything to do with the fuel that you'll have, but it has nothing to do, like, there's no reason to talk about it. There's no reason to bring it up. It's all about like growing, right? And then what you said, which was really important, is fucking with people who want to contribute.
Exactly.
Not suck away the energy, right? And it's cliche, right? We all know the memes.
Yeah.
Cut off bad energy, leave it back in 2019. Toxic people.
No
right?
toxic DJs.
No toxic people in the new year.
You know, all the gossiping, it gets easy.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah.
You get brought into it, right? Oh, so-and-so dropped this at midnight. Can't believe he did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Small shit like that. I mean, you see it everywhere. People who are like, I'll never gossip. But did you see what that dude was wearing?
Yeah.
Little things like that, man. Those are small deposits in the wrong energy.
Well, it just shows where your mind is. And one thing I want to encourage you guys is, if you have that negative outlook or that negative presence about you, and maybe you hide it, maybe you mask it in front of your friends or when you go out and you're out and about, but deep down and when you're in your own time, you're in that negative space, or you're jealous or whatever it is. Man, that's I guarantee that's a part of why you're not getting where you want to be with your bookings.
100%.
Yeah.
Guarantee, because it's the energy you put out. And if you would just focus on yourself and just you don't have to have feelings about anything in this world.
No.
Facts.
You can be completely indifferent and focus on yourself. And man, let me tell you, when I do that,
Right.
shit happens.
Yep.
100%.
And I would tell myself, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it. And that's the mindset. And then fucking shit happens. And there's so many good things, but yeah, I concur. Stay away from all the gossiping and all that. And another thing I want to add is, I brought up,
Stay away from Twitter sometimes. Not saying from your tweet, but like, sometimes I go on there and I'm just like, yo.
Oh, it's bad. It can be bad.
I think it's just about being aware of it. You know what I mean? Like, we're all human. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to have those moments where we're a little judgmental. But when we do it, we're aware of it, and then we get to choose how we want to handle it.
Well, I'm gonna add to that.
Yeah.
It might be even more important. You got to understand where you are at that time.
Yeah.
Where's your head at that time? If you're in a negative place and you go on Twitter and you read a bunch of negative shit, well, you're gonna fuck yourself up. But if you're in like, I want to be entertained, I'm indifferent, let me just go on Twitter and get some entertainment.
And
There's a bunch of negative shit. Yeah, you'll be entertained. But in the morning, I don't turn my phone's in airplane mode when I write in my journal, because I don't want to see any notifications of anything DJ City related, you guys related, Instagram related, because I just want to have peace of mind while I'm in my journal.
What time is this?
This is, if I wake up at 7, I probably won't go out of airplane mode till like 7:45. Oh, so I'll sit there and just enjoy. No notification like, from me. even when I'm done. But shit pops up from yesterday.
You're right.
Or you just shit just comes up, man, in your feed. Like, maybe that's something you guys should do in 2020 is not wake up and go directly to your feed. Just have a moment to yourself. And even if you're anxious, that's the worst thing you can do is check to see if you got that email. And trust me, like, when I'm waiting for that one big booking to come in, boy, am I trying to get to my emails to check that shit out.
I think we're all a victim of that. I will say I am. You know what I mean? Sure. Definitely checking the messages before I even brush my fucking teeth. But definitely trying to be better about it.
I want to encourage us to just like and be with yourself in the morning and just enjoy what's going on around you, appreciate what you have, and then check the notice, and then do your checking or whatever it is. But even then, I'm not scrolling the feed. I gotta be productive. I gotta work on editing this pod, or I gotta work on the next globalization mix or a new scratch routine. So I'm not looking for any of that stuff. There's a pod that we listen to. I haven't listened to that pod in a while because my head is somewhere else with books and how to, the being one with your spirit and all that. So, and I try and not knock it out like it's something that has to be done and get rid of, but I accomplish all that in the morning just because that's when you're at your most alert, you're aware and you're fresh.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, back to the whole thing of DJ. What I wanted to get to is DJs making an announcement at the top of 2020. The clubs announced their residents for the year, whether it's a producer or guys like you and me. And I encourage DJs to not be discouraged by. Some are inspired by it and they say they're going to work harder on it, but don't be discouraged by it because half the time those clubs fall off. They lose their budget. Those guys lose their residencies. 100% of the time, it's a great flex. And if I were in that position too, I would flex it as well because you are a business and you're trying to get more bookings from you. You're trying to attract more buyers.
Your intentions.
So don't hate on them. Understand. And again, it's another thing is it's not us versus us. It's kind of like us versus Instagram when we're trying to blast our shit, right? Because Instagram keeps changing the algorithm. Yeah. So we have to find ways of being creative to spread the word. So if anything, we should be learning from each other and using each other's methods. But yeah, that list, sometimes there's an opening in that list. Mm-hmm. That happened with me and Dare this year, 2019, of course, where an opening came up and then I got the opportunity to do it. And they said, look, we ain't got shit for you for the rest of the year. There are no available spots, only for our residents. But have faith in us, 2020, we're going to put you in rotation. And now I have a booking on January 31st. And I believe them when they say, yeah, we're going to put you in rotation because we saw what you can do.
It's great that they had that communication with you though.
Yeah, but they could also have been full of shit.
Yeah, true.
And you're going to deal with bookers like that where they're just gassing you. And that's definitely happened to me in 2019. Oh yeah, you did us this thing. We'll take care of you. And but it is what it is. You can't rely on those. You can't put your emotions and your thoughts and your everything into waiting for that booking to come through. Okay,
so let me ask you this. Speaking of, to piggyback on this and to kind of bring up what we talked about earlier, you do that, right? You have the notion that, all right, they have said X, Y, and Z. They're going to book me, whatever. Oh, we're going to take care of you end of the year, next year, whatever. And they don't. You reach out to them, nothing. Chirps.
Yeah.
How do you not take that personally?
Because
how do you suggest DJs don't take situations like that personally?
Yeah, no, that's great. I like to think, first of all, I'm doing my best not to rely on that as much as I want that big booking.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best not to rely on it. And I of course I want to flex it and do all that. But again, I try and keep myself leveled. Also, you got to keep in mind that club might be going through changes. There might be a budget cut. There might be something going on. Maybe the booker's doesn't have the power he or she said they had, or there's just changes in general. So you have to prepare for that. Just as long as you do what you could have done in that moment, which was show up and kill it.
Yeah.
That's the best you can do. Like if you can hang your hat on that all day, then you're fine, because there may or may not, but there may be an opportunity where you get to work with that booker again because he or she has a better position now at a different club. I remember you came into this spot and you killed it. We want to give you the opportunity to do that same thing over here.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can't, and again, it's a shot to the ego, I think, above all.
Yeah.
For us DJs, if we don't get that call after we were promised, it's a shot to the ego. And all you can do is just continue to create and, just kill everything that you do after that. And maybe you'll be back on their radar, but it's a long game, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
2020. Picture this, top of 2019, I'm trying to get to Dare. I get a booking in June, and I'm not going to get another one until 2020. Mm-hmm. It's almost like me telling you build for 2021.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And that's kind of what you're doing. If you're not on their radar, you can. Through good faith and stars aligning, you might get the opportunity to do that in 2020. But you're kind of playing for 2021 if you're not on their radar right now.
Yeah, I'll give you two examples. You guys can determine if they're great.
Okay.
I was about to gas my own examples.
That's all right. Hold on. Let me
give me my flowers.
He's gonna take his own flowers.
This is my flower. A single rose. first example is some may not know, but at 19, I had my real estate license, and or going into 20, right? And
tell them how much you made, man. Don't keep them out the cold.
Look,
we know how much you made.
Come on, man.
But I got my license first try and all that stuff, and it took me. And I'm thinking, yo, I'm in like real estate's making good money. This is 2004, 2005, and so it's pre-problems in the market, of course. But what in real estate you encounter is that you're not going to make a sale. A sale doesn't happen overnight.
No.
Like, you got to get a client pre-qualified. You got to get them the proof of the loan through that process. And then you got to go find the house. And then, by that time you're showing them the houses that they can, afford and so forth and so forth. So it takes at least a month, right? To get to the point where you might be getting your check, right? So you're literally working for free in many ways, right? Out of your pocket, credit cards, whatever you can do.
Yep.
But you're never going to get that first check if you don't do the work. And while you're working for that first check, you better be planting the seeds for the second, third, and fourth, because then that's how you stack them. Yeah. And so in the DJ side of things, when you're trying to work with companies that don't work as fast, or they don't return the calls, or they don't book you as often, like, you better start planting that seed at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other spots.
Yep. Yeah.
Because when they finally hit, then they're all hitting together. And then you're eating, and then you're able to work a little differently. Yeah. But that first part, that grind cannot stop. And then more recently, I have another example, which was I got set up with the company. They're a corporate company, and they wanted to work with myself and Mag Park. And they're corporate. They're a big time company. They work differently than I do. Sometimes I put out the work schedule for Mag on Sunday night, for the next day.
You gotta be here at 9 a.m., brother.
Hey, man, look, check this out, man.
Sorry.
Check this out.
Nobody go out Sunday.
Yeah, nobody go out Sunday. Get your notifications. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
But hey, I'm by myself. I'm knocking out payroll. I'm doing, podcast edits equally. And
working,
right? Yeah. We're working. And aside from that, thanks, Joe.
Yeah, of course.
But aside from that, long story short, like, I met with this company to have dinner, real casual. Then things you think they're taking off. It's like a relationship. Then things are taking off, and then you gotta have a couple of drinks, and now you're starting to talk about this hypothetical is really sounding really real. Like, we might work together, right? And then call this November, and then early November, and then the conversation leaving that meeting is, cool, we're gonna set something up for the end of December. Great. I didn't hit this person back till the second week of December, thinking like, December's wrapping up, are we gonna still meet up again?
These moves?
Everybody's excited, and then I don't hear nothing. Ghost town. Literally a couple days ago, I got a reply for the first time. Oh man, that's super exciting. Like nothing, like I wasn't just
like
here.
We just talked yesterday.
Like I wasn't that meme of that cartoon looking out the window, like waiting for a text back. Like I wasn't just sitting there waiting on this reply. And I'm just like, oh great, like can't wait. Yeah. And then it's like, we'll set something up in January. So what I really want to get out of that story is, you don't know how other people work. Right. Everybody has their process.
Absolutely.
When people hit me up and they need to get something handled, I always say this, for me personally, I like to get things emailed to me. I hate notifications. So if I see that number on my Gmail inbox, I want to get that number down, right? That's my goal every day. Every morning is to get that number down as low as possible.
Spam shit.
I haven't seen 0 in a long time, but but 40 to 50 is that comfortable range that I don't have too much on my plate. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I'm going to get it done, but people don't understand my process, right? Yeah. They see me doing something else, they're going to feel like, oh, he doesn't care or whatever. Yeah. No, there's a process. Maybe I'm waiting on somebody else. And so what I've learned is, in anything, like I can't force anybody to do anything. Yeah. When the time is right, and it'll get done. You just have to have faith and keep yourself busy enough to be working on other things that when this finally happens, you're ready.
100%.
Stay prepared, right? Yeah. So I think that's key going into this new year.
Well, I wanted to touch back on the 97% that do gig swap, and just to be clear, that there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with doing it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it if that's your lane. That's not everybody's lane, and it's fine. That's not Fashen's lane. That's fine. It doesn't have to be his lane, and he can say what he wants about it. So that shouldn't discourage you. But he's also playing a different game than those guys. 100%. You know, we're all kind of playing our own.
Well, everybody's relationships get some different places.
Exactly.
It's not like when I got the talent by an opportunity, it's not like I went into that situation thinking I'm going to go book the DJs here one day.
Yeah.
That was literally like, I just happened to be the person that was entrusted or was a tastemaker enough at the time and close to the person who was in charge to be nominated to take over.
Sure.
So in a lot of positions, even if you are gig swapping or you're put in that position, it's not like you like mapped to be there. It's not like you counted on being there.
Yeah.
I definitely understand the difference between somebody who's taking advantage and someone who is being responsible. There's two different things, but the same position.
Yeah.
So I think as long as that person, and you can tell, like, come on, we can tell.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Ain't nobody front. We can tell when the entire calendar has people from out of town. Like in
we know what your agenda is,
in the
buddy.
book, right? And like we all know the budget.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like we can tell. And so when it's obvious and it's blatantly obvious, I think that's when it raises eyebrows, and you're just like, you're just like, what's going on here? But when it's done correctly, and at the end of the day, it's just a different kind of relationship, I think.
Yeah.
You know, again, Fashen is, I'm going to say, a legendary dude in the club scene.
Yeah.
Like, by far, some of the best edits in the game.
Yep.
By far, one of the best mixtapes coming up.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah. Those early Fashen tapes were fun.
And I'm sure he has a bunch of stuff that goes out in different avenues. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like, he was able to establish his name in a different time.
That's true.
Without putting his age out there. He established himself. And
also to mention that, now I can't speak for Fashen because I don't know what kind of business he was doing, but if you wanted a Vice or an AM and you want the price knocked down, guys of that era had to get bundled up. If you like, let's say if AM was 20K.
That's a different time,
and you want an AM for 10, well, okay, you got AM for 10, but you also got DJ A, B, C, and D. You also had to book DJ A, B, C, and D on that Deck Star roster.
Yeah, but that was AM and Vice looking out for their guys.
Right. Yeah. But I'm just saying that's what was going on at that time. And I think to some degree it is still happening. But I think more importantly, it's the gig swapping thing. Now, I want to focus on that before we get out of here, because I do want to encourage those guys who are swapping to think bigger than the swap. What if I didn't have the swap? What if my swap stopped tomorrow? What am I doing when I go to whatever city you're going to? What am I doing to establish longevity in this city? It can't just be. There's got to be more to it than just the swap on the table. So are you guys going out and meeting other people? Are you being introduced around? Are you getting familiar with the scene, the players, the VIP hosts? Because there's more to it than just a swap on the surface. So I want to encourage those guys to figure out other ways to continue to stay in that city or grow and possibly help others if the swap wasn't there. And for like, what would you guys recommend for guys that aren't involved in the swap and are trying to get to these cities?
I was gonna make a joke like, man, they're not listening. They're booked everywhere else.
Yeah, right.
I mean, just to dumb it down, it just basically goes back to the 3 steps that you guys mentioned earlier. You know what I mean? Just build those, work on your relationships, your brand, and your skills. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, that's pretty much the fucking blueprint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the blueprint.
Yeah.
And I think that's a blueprint regardless of what your end goal is, regardless of how your approach is. That's pretty much how you're going to establish it and be able to elevate and whatever, you know what I mean, in this industry, and be able to move on and accomplish those goals. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. And just to like completely dumb it down, like when we say skills, like we're talking about like, you don't need to juggle. You don't need to triple click flare. Like all that stuff is dope. And we appreciate it because
we're not knocking it. Please, by all means, if you want to do it, do it.
I'm down to listen to that.
Right. All the time. Right. Routines.
Exactly.
Just make sure it's appropriate.
Yeah.
But half the time, right.
The timing is.
But half the time, right. Half the time, it's not even appropriate for the set at the club.
For sure.
And maybe more than half the time, if we're trying to be as accurate as possible.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, yeah, you got to have standard skill sets, blending, timing, all that other stuff, regular stuff. And aside from that, yeah, relationships come first, man. Like, that's just, you got to build that. And that doesn't just mean, knowing somebody. That means like following up, touching base, actually caring, right? Go back to our do's and don'ts of networking, right? Like, those are standard ways to connect with other human beings and not make it transactional. Because once you make things transactional, I think at that point you understand what your relationship is. I mean, again, because I know this world, the entire first year of Mag Park, we gave away so many fucking shoes and so many Supreme items or whatever the case may be, right? And to build relationships with quote unquote influencers.
Yeah.
Right. And the people that stuck with us after the marketing budget ran out are the people who I genuinely would listen to their like humanized problems.
Yeah.
Family, just talking about sports, talking about just regular things. Those are the people that stuck around and are to this day supporters of the business. Yeah. The guys who was like, all right, here's your shoes, let me get my post, blah, 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 blah.
And never saw them again.
I don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I honestly, and some of them aren't even like where they were then. And so, which I can only imagine has to do with the transactional relationships that they developed.
Yeah.
Because ultimately when you have, I don't know, somebody had a controversial tweet or something happened and now they're not as famous or nobody's supporting them. Well, shoot, who's going to support you when you made everything business, right? Yeah. Nobody's going to look at you like a human being. Everybody's going to look at you, oh, he's just the guy that we did a deal with.
Yeah.
Versus this is so-and-so, my friend, right? Someone who I know personally and can speak on behalf that he's still a good dude. I'll still do business with him regardless of how this looks in the public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately that carries over in this DJ world where if you establish relationships, build a relationship, like, man, I'm super grateful for all the DJs I've gotten to meet because every single one of them has a different story, right? Literally and metaphorically.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the people who have, I mean, tons of men and women come in, support the business, support our podcast, right? Support DJ City and Beat Source and everything that we're doing off love, right?
Yeah.
Like, and they've messed with me when I had infusion. They messed with me when I didn't have infusion.
Yeah.
When we came and opened another store, we came and opened another business, we have Mag Park, they supported us, right? That's the bond you grow. That's why we're all tight beyond the foundation that we all put together.
Yeah.
Right? And I think we all kind of understand like who are those people that we trust and who are the people we want to keep near each other.
Yeah.
And in every different season, we, you kind of make adjustments. And I think this is just a new season, a new decade. And, as long
it's just another day, right, Joe?
Just another day,
just
man.
Another day.
Father Time don't give a fuck what you're going through.
Right.
You got to keep pushing.
Right.
Real quick before we end this, music-wise, where you guys think music is heading this year?
Oh, yeah.
In the
Hot
nightlife?
take before we get out of here.
Yeah. Where you guys think music is heading? Where?
I'm saying more old school. I think we're going to be playing more old school where new music is going to be.
Define old school, man.
Well,
2000s.
Okay.
2000s.
You're saying-
I knew that's what you meant.
Yeah,
But I think I wanted to clarify that.
You're saying that.
appreciate
So
that.
you're saying that DJs will be allowed to incorporate that more, or
Yeah.
venues would want that more?
I think venues are going to start seeing that works for getting the crowd going, or what for whatever, however you want to break it down. But at the end of the day, it works. So I think they're going to encourage that more. And now I'm also going to say, it's not going to be a significant amount, but in 2020, you will start seeing more of those parties popping up on weekend nights, those old school 2000 parties popping up on weekend night. Because if I'm a level 2 or 3 club, what do I have to lose?
True.
I mean, I'm tired of playing this cool game, this be cool game, whatever.
True.
you know, let's just get some fucking money at the bar. Let's get some money through the door, and you know, we'll have more of a sustainable run. Yeah. Now, new music, I don't know. I think still gonna be some Latin.
I think especially in LA, like the Latin movement is going to increase. And when I say it's going to increase, I mean, and I'm speaking for myself. If I'm doing a typical hip hop spot, I'll usually throw in some Afro beats to kind of break it up. Yeah. Okay. Right? Like, all right, I didn't slammed you over the head 45 minutes to an hour. Yep. Let's switch it up. Let's take a left.
Afro beats needs a face though.
Yeah. But I'm not saying, I personally think Afro beats will be the same as it was in 2019. Okay. It won't. I think Latin music will take another step up where we're hearing it more. And I'm saying specifically here in LA, where we'll be hearing it more. Yeah. People are going to, venues and people who go out are going to want to hear it a little bit more. And that because that like mumble tone sound is kind of similar to it, I think that we'll start to make a shift a little bit more back into it. Yeah. Especially all you guys who's making those remixes, probably going to kill with that sound. Yep. And I think that I want to word it correctly, but I'm not sure. Like the house, when I say house, I mean, for example, like K-Tronada type stuff. I think that stuff is going to start seeing this way more so.
Hopefully.
And into it. Not like, I want to say like K-Tronada-ish type, house music, quote unquote. I mean, excuse me if I know like house heads will get hot with me.
Man, there's so many branches from that tree.
Get hot with me. So excuse my ignorance.
That tree is big.
Yeah, but I think that
redwood.
I think that sound will start to creep its way
Bluewood if you're
into what you call it. I mean, I personally hope so too. You know what I mean? It's I don't want to say it's rare that I get to play that stuff, but it's not as often as I would like.
Yeah.
Hot take. Well, I'm a double or triple down on Roddy Ricch having a big.
Hey, now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, hip hop's never going anywhere. Man. Let's be real with that.
Yeah. I'm going through a quick little what's it called, detour here, but really excited to hear Ty's album and Cole's album. If those stand out, and if Rihanna drops something,
I'm excited to hear Justin Bieber's album.
Justin Bieber as well. Super excited about that. I'll say that I think we'll see a lot of 90s cars coming this decade, or this
with the gold BBSs.
I think that's where the old quote unquote Rice Rocket look might be a thing.
Wow.
I'm gonna go ahead and take a shot at that one.
Okay.
Because we're going whole lifestyle here.
Got an inside guy. He's on the inside.
But I do think like 90s house could be heavily influenced in some sampling, and I think in some of the things that we'll see translating over to some of the other genres, maybe that have the opportunity to cross over. I think that could be a thing, and I would love to see like a 2010s, like early 2010s party pull up, little Timbaland influenced era,
a lot of Rihanna.
That
was a huge up-tempo dance movement.
Like I think that
a lot of fun music at that time.
I think the moment is just it just feels like it's slowly becoming that time, Yeah. And so as we've seen the transition, so I think it'll be exciting to see.
Yeah, hopefully hopefully clubs are more open to more open format, more up tempo. It doesn't have to be EDM, just that good 128 stuff.
Yeah.
And I understand most of it is EDM, but
there's a lot of tracks up there that are not like EDM-ish.
It's just fun. Yeah. So yeah,
I'm calling it audible right now.
Okay.
This was not on any of our discussions or texts.
Okay.
But I want us to set goals for our pod, and I'm gonna set us off.
Okay.
We got two of them for us.
Okay.
Shit, we could go. Obviously, we have to agree to it. So these are suggestions.
It's a team thing.
Number one, we're gonna have our own mix show.
Okay.
Everybody likes the pod. I think our next step is having our own mix show.
Mm-hmm.
Step number 2 is having our own monthly party.
Mm-hmm. I'm with that.
And then step number 3 is potting from out of the state somewhere.
Yeah, that was going to be mine. I think traveling with the show.
Yeah.
Getting different.
And if you see us doing any of these things, it's right. It's not a forced thing.
Yeah.
It's the right situation because we ain't got time for no bullshit. I can tell you that right now. We all got our own thing going on and we got to do what's right for the show.
100%.
And I like to add to that with some sponsors.
Yeah, there you go.
Proper sponsors.
There you go.
Sponsors.
Now you're potting.
Talk to us.
No, I'm potting.
Talk to us.
I'm potting.
Talk to us. Yeah,
You were potting.
absolutely.
I started potting after you.
He piggybacking off that.
Yeah.
Yo, I was about to say I got to lob you. I was talking to Phenom earlier today, and I said, "Yeah, lob us." He goes, "What?"
Sports.
He said, "What you say?"
This is why we don't talk sports on this show.
You just call me a lop.
The fuck is a lob?
As much as we would love to, we don't.
Rell, you got one to throw in there? I did kind of set us up pretty high.
Yeah, you did. Like, I agree because with I was going to say the traveling one because I think that we give a lot of perspective from the LA market, and I would love to hear DJs that are in these other major cities and their perspective on a lot of the topics that we spoke about, even past topics that we've spoken about.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's Miami, New York, Texas, whatever, even some smaller cities like Reno, like when we had Sprite on last week and he brought us like some of the smaller cities that he loves to go to and just kind of get the DJs in those cities and their perspective on a lot of these topics, I think would be great.
Yeah.
Because we talk about LA. So I think MikiDz podcast, shooting in different cities, sign us up.
And not only talk about, but be open to give ideas to how to make it better. Because we can sit here and say, oh man, let me get on that pod. I got a lot of stuff to get off my chest. All right, well, you're not going to come on here.
We want to hear constructive
rant and
stuff. Yeah, we don't want you ranting. Save that for Twitter.
Do you get hit with the whole like, when am I going to go on? Or I have a lot to add on. I've gotten a couple of those, and I'm just like,
I don't respond to those.
Yeah,
I love you, man. Positivity, 2020.
Yeah, all that.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
There it is. What episode is this?
27.
27. Episode 27.
Episode 27. Please continue to repost.
Yes, sir.
Like, share, tell your friends. Hopefully, I think we kicked off the 2020 really, really well.
Yeah.
With
Happy
this
New Year.
informative podcast. And yeah, if there's anything you guys like us to talk about, throw it in there. Throw it in our DMs, and I'm sure we'll get to it.
If you want one of us to shut the fuck up, let us know.
Well,
I mean, it's not going to happen, but let us know because it'd just be funny for us to talk about it.
Engagement.
Can I make a last minute shout out?
Yeah, let's go for it.
To Joe's Earth Tones a la Yoda. Like,
yo, are you watching The Mandalorian?
No.
Oh, man.
But I love
it's going to go over his head now.
No, he knows the memes. You know the memes. Shout out to the Mac Park shirt.
Yeah, man, I love my Earth.
We all out here Mac Park today, huh?
Yeah, right. Vibes.
Except for Michael.
Except myself.
What about the hat?
I mean, I designed the hat,
Yeah.
but it's not like Mac. It's
Yeah.
Los
All
Angeles Dodgers. Shout out to the Dodgers.
Always. Always.